Hi, I am here after 10 days of Vipassana course, after 10 days in silence, in introspection, in intense work, and I am sharing what were my insights, what changed, what uh, are the gains. I am growing on this path. I'm still in the beginning, but I've taken perhaps the second step, which was which is to continue my practice. Mm. And the first was to begin. And I don't have any script. I don't have any planning for this video other than to try and narrate whatever comes after this experience. Mm. I am a person that is choosing to live life in this way, that in some periods it drives me intensely inwards, and in some other periods intensely outwards. And I laugh because I go deeper in layers of forgiving myself, forgiving my people, forgiving my life, clearing more and more and more. And at the end of the meditation, the 11th day in the morning, uh, they create a certain energetic wave through the meditative minds, and the love they give to the souls who go there to practice, and through prayer, through intention, and every time at the end, on the 11th day, I feel this river in different ways. Every time it is felt in a different way. And this, I remember I was in a meditation center in Hong Kong, and during this time I went back through the people of my life, and time was moving so fast, and I was seeing those people, and then it was moving and moving, but then it stuck in one person that I have forgotten. And then I remembered him, and I embraced, I remembered, that is, remember to make a member of oneself again. And this time, at this river flowing moment at the end, I saw again the people through my life, and I was seeing them smiling, and when they didn't smile, then I would make them smile. And I was moving and moving, and then I saw the earth from afar as a river, this blue water. And it was nice. When I say I see things, it's difficult to explain because I do not see them. Despite being an artist, I don't have such intense visuals. I mostly, it's my mind's eye seeing. It is difficult to explain that. I want to be a breeze. I want to be clear. I want to explain. Mm. It was a good experience. I grew in equanimity a little bit. I tamed my tiger a little bit, my warrioress a little bit, that I always wanted to push through. That was my natural tendency, from my inhibition, not from my naturalness necessarily, but that was my natural tendency to. Uh, it's also the Wing Chun practice I've done some years ago, to go forward and strike and cross through. And I tamed that spirit a little bit, because the idea is one of the basic of the practices about this equanimity is mm, that you are faced with a thought. Okay, you are faced with a thought, and this thought is moving you in directions like the wind, and in a sense it's a windbreaker. In a sense, um, it's I'm sorry, I'm becoming abstract. I will try to be less of that. I was saying, so the thought comes, it takes you, and equanimity is to bring your mind back, and it is an exercise to not allow for the distractions to pull you in directions, and to remain equanimous. And what I used to do in the past, I would fight with the thoughts, which was exactly the opposite result. So a thought would come, it would pull me towards one direction. As it is explained in this technique, it is either a clinging or an aversion towards something. So you're either going towards, or you're either pushing away from something, or towards something. So let's say I was having a pain in my leg. Yes, let's talk about a real experience. I was having a pain in my right leg, and I will leave my cup here. And that was creating a certain aversion, meaning I I didn't want the pain, right? I was feeling the pain, and what I was doing, what I thought was the right thing to do, was to feel through the pain until I move forward, I move beyond that. And indeed, I have managed to do that. So once in my first, especially in my first time, I if I was resisting so much, so it was becoming more and more harder and harder, and fire was arising within me, more and more and more and more so, and I ended up feeling that I was burning, that my whole body was pain, and staying there and crossing through and dissolving that, I was going out, and I was feeling I used to feel that I won. And now what I learned was that you stay with the pain, but when the pain is multiplying, instead of going through, you come back and you bring your awareness and your attention to the totality of your being, to it's a different part of the body. So you move your attention towards its individual part of the body, and you moving through the parts and reminding that there is a whole, that it is made of a variety of things. So to not go into this totalitarianism of being strong. And was my Nietzsche, yeah. My Nietzsche. Well, that came up. Yeah. So it is the same with moving to pleasure, moving towards a pleasurable direction, and then you want more and you want more. And if you remind yourself of the whole and how your attention needs to go to watering the plants also, and to not indulge in your inner self in your room for days, and then the plants wither. And I've been depressed many years. So through my whole teenage and early youth, a good amount of years, and this is why I have these memories, and this is why this path is extra important for me. Another thing was, and still is, and it is exciting me because of my kung fu and tai chi, and the yin and the yang, the qigong practices. The I In a way I am learning again the world. Some years now, it's some years now, some change is taking place, and I thought that I learned to see again. I learned to listen again. I learned to speak again, as if a baby, and learning to think again, learning to learn again, and learning to communicate, to relate, to open, to close, learning everything again. After this distraction phase that took a long time, that I was kind of destroying, yeah, and unlearning. So now I am relearning. Excuse me, I feel that my speech is not good enough, in the sense that I am aware my flow is not that of, it doesn't have cohesion all the time, isn't straightforward and clear, but it is also part of me learning how to talk, because I think I remained silent for quite some time. I didn't speak for quite some time, and now I decided to do so, now a few years now. So I had to learn again how to get my thoughts into a structure that can be communicated in a way that is pleasant also, and it is not driving people away, and it is not testing people's patience, because this is the feedback I get many times, that I am too slow, but I need to just get over these things, and I am. So thank you for listening to this part. Mm. I began talking about this yin and yang, and learning again from the beginning, and where I'm going towards is that I am again learning the directions from the beginning, but in a totally different way. And especially now with the meditation, um, this intense meditation, I learn the in and the out, and how there are these kind of doors, these kind of transitional phases, spaces, and it is something that is very magical for me, and it is very, I find it very exciting, very interesting to observe how how my whole being, my mind, my breath, my everything uh, goes out and comes in, and how these are distinct places. Of course, everything is one, but then also not. And this is something that I find very interesting. So there is this practice before Vipassana, the practice of Anapana, which is a few days of focusing on the breath, just the breath, but limiting the focus within a very small area of the body. And so when you observe the movement of the consciousness, the movement of the attention and the awareness uh, as it moves through the outside, slowly through the days, and then it gets, and it goes in, and then it goes in, and it's a kind of love making process in this sense. I like to see it this way, these transitioning movements, and then the opposite of how it's going outside, and it amazes me every time I go outside of the meditation center, and it is so fun. It is so fun that I get my phone and I'm asked to insert the code, and I'm like, I know how to do this thing. I know how to do this thing, but it's not exactly. Um, Again, I mean, I am in the beginning, as I said. Yes, I am in the beginning of training my mind in such fields, but I still I see how it's again the same movement of going out, and it takes some transitioning spaces. Let's call it transitioning spaces instead of calling it time, because I see that one could move in different kind of paces through these spaces, but because I feel I am in the beginning, so I'm moving kind of slow. Maybe I'm moving kind of slow because I've had a life with 1,000 of injuries in my back in the past, and so I am determined that I'm going there, but I am uh, a little more determined to move with stability than I was before. Um, Maybe let's take a little break. Okay. Hmm. I am so much in love with life, in the sense that I am fascinated by my own growth. And when I say growth, I don't mean any crazy exponential growth like New Age media portrays it. I mean the natural growth that happens. We grow up, right? So I'm fascinated by this. And um, I had this experience again in the meditation where I was listening to the teachings about impermanence, how everything is impermanent, and this body and this life, and I was realizing the breaths of people through infinity, the breaths of everything that breathes, not just people. And I was realizing this river of breaths in infinity, um, and then I came from this huge space to my nowness and my here-ness, and I I realized the one breath of my moment of breath, and somehow it was really moving. It felt very much like I was in my deathbed, and I was fully aware of taking my last breath, and and this is how important this breath became. And I'm realizing that there are so many more ways to live life, um, and I am here, and I'm taking you along with me on this through my narratives and through my stories. Sometimes I share things that I feel very paranoid afterwards. I feel that I self-sabotage and I expose myself through some moments of intensity. And I think it is very important for me to do that. So, so then I am showing you the totality of my truth. And somehow there is an importance there. And also I allow for you to correct me. And sometimes I take your correction, sometimes I strengthen my mind. Whatever happens is good to happen. And I come to see that the experiences I have had, I needed to have them. It is easier said than felt. Yeah. They give you this questionnaire in the beginning of the meditation, and I they asked this question whether you had some trauma in the past or some difficulties, physical illness, mental, and they ask about these things because the process is really, it's indeed intense, and all things can come up for an individual. It's really challenging the sanity of the mind in order to make it sane again. Um, and usually I wrote all sorts of stories on this section in the previous meditations, but in this one I wrote a more simpler message that I I have had a difficult life. I wrote, and I'm hopeful. I wrote that I'm a heart warrior now, a heart warrior, and I am optimistic. Uh, yeah, yeah. I don't want to play the victim or but I really did have a difficult life, and I know that there are people who have had it much worse. But yeah, it's not about comparing who had the most difficult life, but or who had the easiest one, because I have also had an easy life in another way of viewing it. But when I see myself, how much I have tried, and how much I have been trying and trying and doing what it takes and doing what I can and doing the best that I can at the moment, and always being present and exploring the life through an open heart, and we do our best. Yeah. There is much forgiveness taking place in this course. As I said, it takes you straight into remembering. I would recommend it to you. I am aware there are these religious attributes, and not everyone is willing. And even I will share this with you. My own mother, she banned me from entering her house because her spiritual father, her guiding priest, suggested to her that she should ban me from entering her space, because through my practices, my meditation and qigong and all these things I am researching and doing, I carry and bring a multitude of spirits along, and evil spirits, evil ones. So she literally asked me, because she had the guidance from the priest or monk, I am not sure, that I shouldn't be part of her household now that I am part of this other thing. And I really do not wish to insult my culture. This is this is not who I am really. I am grateful to my mother and to the church for the years of my early childhood that took me through this. I was going to church school every Saturday and to the church to the mass every Sunday, and these experiences, of course, created all sorts of trouble, and really, it could have been easier for me without it, I think. But then I can't know. And in the end, now, in my nowness, I am grateful because through these experiences with the church, I began early on to cultivate this connectivity and this mind, praying mind, a contemplative mind, an inquiring mind. But then at the same time, I will never know if everything would have been better and easier if I just carried along without any institution back then and now. Maybe, but it is what it is, and I am who I am, and I am where I am, and I do the best that I can do. And I always, 1,000 times check on myself. Course correct. I'm an active driver, I'm not just, I am there on the road, and there is no need to say all these things about all this but maybe there is, because I have the expression of my ego during the times of my evolution and of my growth. I have this expression of my ego exploding and getting out of proportion and creating troubles. So it's good to keep an eye on that. Not a shameful I, not a blaming, judging I, but just the eye of awareness that there is this flow and there is this possibility of of the tiger, unless you keep her tame and you keep on taming her. There is this possibility to jump over. Yeah, I use this affirmation during my meditation a few times that helped me. There was no instructions about any affirmations. We were instructed to observe complete silence, and this is what I was trying to do. And yet sometimes, like that time, I use this sentence, and it was saying, there is no one enlightened here. And somehow this sentence helped me because, in the past, when the subject goes to enlightenment, then I get this ego boost and I'm like, oh, maybe I am getting enlightened. And somehow I create a persona around it and I grow all sorts of impurities, let's say, all sorts of pride, and there is a way, to be a rock star, and be a free spirit and go beyond all these limitations and be your full embodied avatar. And there is this way. Mm. Then there is also the way where this thing goes wrong, and you, instead of embracing your potential and becoming your full heart, open and expressed, but instead of doing that, there is this twist. And sometimes I have taken this twist many times. Mm, Maybe I will again. So I'm careful there. So I was reminding myself that there is no one enlightened here. Whenever I would go on that horse ride, on this wild horse ride, and somehow this was bringing me back to the heart. And somehow, for me, to come back to the heart is so, so important. Ah. Another thing I want to say is another insight I had during a break. I went to my tree. There was a garden, a beautiful garden, and I was trying to not connect with nature much, because it's not helping when you really try to go inwards, and then you go out, and it's confusing in the beginning. So I was, during this time, yes, during this time frame, not my whole life, I am nature, I'm there. Yeah. So I was near the tree, and I show myself, and I show my way, I show my awareness, and I saw that, wait, wait a minute. I remember that as a child, I had that. As a child, I had that. I had that awareness. I had that clarity. I had that mind. I had that mind that I'm now trying to get. I had it. And this, in this way, time dissolved. And I was there, and I was there, I was here and there. One friend, he told me some years back, he said, it is never too late for a good childhood. I didn't have a bad childhood, but also I did. I don't know. It's strange to be a child, isn't it? It is. What else to say about it? It was so beautiful, the love I felt from the teachers, the care for every student to bring out their greatest efforts. The efforts from my mates, the efforts. Um, yeah, another little break, right? And we'll go for the last round. yeah, I was talking about the efforts of all the students to be careful, to respect one another, to leave space for one another, to care for one another, to feel deeper through the intentions, and to allow, to prioritize the self or the other depending on the circumstances. You know, like when you go into such deep meditation, then your sense of feeling through the intentions of another is growing. So let's say something very simple, right? I'm here and you are there, and we are going both towards this cup. And what is happening is that the awareness increases in such a degree that we realize that, you know, there is nothing worth fighting for between you and I. And I want it, yeah, you want it, but then we put the priorities straight. I am here, you are there. All right, take it. Or maybe the other is like, no, take it. And then who needs it? Who needs it most at the moment, you know? And it's really, really like heartbreaking, but in the most beautiful, opening way to get to experience such behaviors and environments. And you can say that these things are there in our everyday life. And the thing is, they are, like, they are. But then there are also all these other things that create all sorts of problems, like, you know, that stop us from this priority setting. And I'm not preaching anything, I am a student of this. I don't have necessarily all my priorities straight. I am working on that. I am trying to get it right. I am trying to get it straight. A last thing, yeah, I'm not the last thing. I will just go on until this thing ends. Another thing, so the animals, you know, the squirrels, the birds, the monkeys, the all sorts of animals in this big meditation garden space, they were coming like 1 meter near you because we were vibrating on a different frequency. We were having a totally different mindset and intention at the moment, all of us going through this practice and we through this effort. And the animals, they know, they sense. What was so so they just feel safe because they feel that they know, like, they have this level of awareness, so they feel our intentions. And it's also a plant-based meals, nutrition, vegetarian food, and with plenty of tofu, tempeh, lots of beans, lots of legumes, um, fruits, mushrooms, all sorts of beautiful foods, like really good foods. You know, there is this thing that the food is so good, but if you eat too much, then you know you can't meditate, right? So really want to meditate, right? The food is so good. So, yeah, I was saying that also because of this, practicing these moral values of abstaining from killing, for example, I will not go into depth into that. Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? How to kill rightly? How to? I will not, because I have been a meat eater for the majority of my life, and it's only the last few years that I am trying, and so because of that, I am no one to have. I don't have enough experience to have. It's not only about my experience, it's because I come from a family of separates, like the grandfather and my grandparents, and from my father's side have been separates, and they had lambs, and so I somehow try to make peace with this root of mine also. And so I don't know yet where I stand there, but I do know that when an animal is there, you are there, and you're not eating meat, you're not killing, so you don't see this being as food. Maybe even if you do, but you have managed to do it in a way that is honoring each other. So the animal knows, and it can trust you. It can come nearby or not. And it is not just the animal that knows. We all know. Yeah, that was another thing about these animals really coming so near. I mean, not touching, not allowing you to touch them, but just being casually nearby and feeling serene with the humane presence. Usually we make such a mess around us. We carry all these stresses, and they're like, oh my gosh, they don't want they don't want to come nearby. I feel gifted. I am gifted. I'm very much gifted by all of the people in my life, all of the experiences, all of everything I come across. I mean, I have been fighting with survival fears intensely through the years. I think this is something you can't tell about me, but also it's something I'm not opening up or not communicating much about, because it's a place of darkness for me and fear, and I'm still clearing these spaces out. Um, but for reasons, I used to carry this scarcity beliefs that I won't have a home, I won't have a shelter, I won't have food, or I won't have enough food, and these beliefs took me to wild and extreme circumstances. Um, but it is not the beliefs truly that took me there. It is my decision to see through these beliefs that is taking me to these wild circumstances. Otherwise, I would compromise. I would find myself a regular job, so I would solve this kind of fears like a regular person, and it's hurting me, it's hurting me. Sometimes people call me weird or odd, or they're trying to figure me out, and why am I living this life, and why am I entitled to this life, that I I do not necessarily do the things regularly, in a regular way. And even myself, I am thinking that I am gathering my skills, and it is about time that I do something with them, right? And not letting them to waste and be of service somehow. But then there is also this artist that has to be free in this way, that has to tolerate the waves, and has to move along, and has to come out each and every time, and has to. In a sense, being an artist, I'm thinking that once I realize that I express who I am, and I express what I am, and I bring to the world what I am, I made it a point to purify this being in order to bring and to express that good thing. And I have some second thoughts sometimes that it makes me less free if I'm so careful to do the right thing. But it's not real. It's a thinking construction. And real freedom, I think real freedom lies more in the choice than in anything else. These are my experiences. This was the fourth 10-day Vipassana course I took by Goenka instructions. And if you have any questions, anything you would like to know, you can ask. Any comments if you have to make. I don't know, I'm thinking maybe I should end this with a meditation. What do you think? Like a few minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes of meditation. So you can also come along, and if nothing else, just rest for a little bit. Pause, rest. Yeah. I could just stop in the narrative, stop in the story. It would have been better, I think. But now I'm here. So, yeah, let's do it this way. I spoke too much after being so silent. Thank you for being here. So let's end this. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And bye for now.